Hello everybody, welcome back to another Photoshop tutorial. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different from the norm. Usually you would see a banner or a server banner, just different types of banners on this channel in the form of tutorials. But today we're going to be doing I suppose if you really wanted to, you could use it as a splash screen for your Discord server. And splash screens are the images users see when they're invited to your server. You unlock splash screens by, I believe, tier 1 of boosting or by being a Discord partner. So this would be a pretty decent design for that. But in general, I just want to make a tutorial on how to make the loading screens from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. That was one of my favorite games for the longest time, and it still is. So I thought I would make this. Before I even start out, there is a way to make the paper texture that you see in the backgrounds here, but I am not going to be going over that in this video because otherwise this video would be a lot longer and I just want to get the basics down. For example, I've already spent almost a minute and a half just doing the intro. As you can see from this little one here, this is from Roblox. This was a while ago. I was making something for a game. But this time around, we're going to be using, instead of a Roblox backgrounds, I'm going to be grabbing a screenshot from this Tes Oblivion project, and the link to that information will be down below. I'll link their website, so you can follow that if you're interested. And Tes Oblivion is just recreating Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, so the screenshots from that will look a lot better than whatever I take from the actual Oblivion game, because it would be a lot newer, it would look a lot better. Okay, so to start out, you want to make a new file, size at 1920 by 1080. Bring this over so you can see that. And now that you have this here, you want to go ahead and bring in your paper texture. And one thing that I want to note about the paper texture is depending on what kind of paper you use, you can have really different effects. So let me pause real quick and show you what I mean. Okay, just as an example, I've pulled up actual loading screens from Oblivion. As you can see, these are a lot lighter. They have some burns or discolored pieces in the ends. I chose to make mine a bit darker, but it's really super easy to change the color of the paper and the backgrounds, because as you can see, if I go back over here, I just replaced this, let's see, one image right here, and the entire paper thing falls apart. So that means you can also quickly and easily drop in an image and have this all replaced. So if you don't like having a darker or the way that I have it, you can always try to find another texture that's similar to the Oblivion one, or find one and make edits until it is similar. So keep in mind, you don't have to use the paper texture I'm using. You can just search old paper texture or paper texture, make your edits from there, go from there. But this darker version here is the one I'll be using for this tutorial. But once again, doesn't matter which one you use, it's all going to have the same effects. Well, it's going to look slightly different for this background area, it could be lighter or darker, but it's going to be the same outcome. So let me go ahead and get rid of this for now. Okay, so now that you have your basic paper texture here, you want to go ahead and grab the image that you're going to be using. So I went ahead and grabbed a image from the latest screenshot upload in the Tes Oblivion Discord server. So that's the one I will be using for this tutorial. As you can see, it looks pretty great. It probably isn't the best option for a background, but I think it's still going to end up looking perfectly fine. So to start out, what you want to do with it is you're going to do a Control J. You're going to do color dodge. Where is it at? There we go. And we'll leave that at 100%. You're going to, actually, let's make a backup of this because we're going to need it later for the center section. Backup. And I don't feel like going back and copy pasting the image again. Get rid of that. Bring that back here. And we will merge this down. Next thing we want to do is we want to do multiply. Actually, before that, we're going to do black and white. Merge that down. Then we're going to do multiply and have that at 53%. Or just about. We can always mess around with that if we have to. Now this already looks pretty decent, but we are not quite done there. We're going to go to image, adjustments, and it's decently good practice to make this a smart layer because you can always undo these layer adjustments, or you can just do layer adjustments here. But I'll do them here this time around. But normally I like to go up here and do them there, which isn't the best, as I probably mentioned in a past video, because it's hard to undo that. These you can easily mess around with, but I guess there's no harm in doing this for this one. Now I'm just going to increase the lightness. As you can see, lightness up. It helps it fade a bit more. Let's see. You next want to adjust the lightness. Let's see, levels. Make it a bit lighter. Okay. Make sure that it's clipped, otherwise it's going to be affecting all the layers underneath it. And I also want to add a bit of noise. Where is it at? There we go. Not too much, just a wee bit. I think that's fine for the time being, and we can always come back and adjust it if we have to. Now, it wasn't as cut out and to the point as the other one, the reason being there's huge grassy areas here, so it's not easy to do that. But as you can see, the castle itself is basically a little cutout frame, and that's generally the look you're going for. Let's go ahead and group this in the folder, and we're going to make this green and name this the background. The next section is kind of up to you how you want to approach it. I cannot make it the same way that Oblivion creators did. Let me get that example real quick. This is what I'm talking about. This frame here, I could certainly make the brown part of it, but all these intricacies, I would have to find some render of them online, then paste them in, and the likelihood of these being readily available is very slim. Actually, I am going to make a quick adjustment to the background because it's still a little too bright, not as dark as I want it to be yet. I actually want to try this out as well. Where is it at? See how this looks. Yep, don't worry too much about all this detail here going missing because as you can see with this and this other one, we're going to be bringing this detail back. So instead of doing this kind of frame, I am probably going to opt for something like this. Yes, this kind of frame doesn't look all that great, but it'll get you in the right direction, and from there you can adjust. I mean, I suppose I could try, but there's definitely no way I'm going to be able to get this stuff without that sort of shapes, because I cannot make all of this myself, because I'm not an artist. I just do edits. So I'm just going to hide that for now, because we're probably going to glance at it again in the future. And now we're going to get the center section started. Center section. Let's make this red, and let's find a good size. I'm just going to use black as a starting color. Let's grab rectangle tool. I wanted. And let's see. That might be decent, or it might not. I don't think it's enough space actually to write anything. How big did I make it here? I guess I made it about that size. Doesn't feel big enough. I expanded a wee bit. Cool. Does not want to center itself. Look at that. Does that look centered to you? Looks centered to me. Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna take it as being center. We'll make this about that. Might actually go a bit thicker. I am sort of curious to try this out. I don't think it's gonna go well. I know it's not gonna go well. But it could be an interesting look. And it's more traditional to the Oblivion style. Let's see. Give me a sec while I think about that. Okay, so I thought about it and I guess we can give it a shot. I hope it turns out looking decent, but no guarantees. So let's get this show on the road. We using this color, and I'm just grabbing these colors from the actual one. We're gonna do a stroke using the darker one. Let's make it about 6 pixels. Make that a bit thicker. Make this bigger as well, just so we can accommodate all this extra space. And you get more of the actual nice scenery in the image. Why can I not center anything today? This is sort of annoying. There we go. And then from here, we're gonna add all the little patterns and intricacies. But before that, what I think I want to do is just get the center piece all nice and visible, so we don't have this boring eye sort of stare at this entire time. So give me 1 second, I'm going to get this set up for that. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to grab your backup image that you had before, and we're going to make two separate, what do we call it? Separate folders within this actual folder itself. One for the image section of the center and one for the text section, just so we keep it all organized. We'll name this the image section. And let's begin cutting out the corners just so we can see what we're working with. I'm going to cut out a bit here and make my way to the center. It's a bit too much, because we are not going to be using anywhere near all of this space. Cool, and now we can actually use a frame over the image itself, which I probably should have done from the beginning to get this all sorted out. So I'm going to drop the opacity of that, and I'm going to cut out to right about there. Yep. Now we're going to go to the top, cut about there. There is a more effective way of doing this, but this is the method I'm choosing to use. Missed a layer. Then this one right here. Perfect. Now we're going to make this black and white because we're going to be adding a... The name is not coming to me. This thing here. Because now we're going to use the gradient tool. Where is it at? It's with the paint bucket. Yep, gradient tool to give a fade effect to this image. It's gonna fade right up. I might actually just do this right here. Grab the paint bucket tool. Because that I definitely want to be visible there. And then we're gonna go from here. I might actually end up having to delete more of that base section. We'll see in a sec. See if this works. I think this should be enough space for us to do our text. And then for this image itself, I'm going to bring in the paper texture and just overlay it a slight bit, just so you can get that effect. Oh, just so you know that there is paper here. I don't like that one. That's better. Cool. That's there, and now we're gonna get our little base layer in here. We're gonna group this, and this is gonna be our text layer. Let's do this. What color was our background? Oh, the background was just that, so I'm gonna. Oh, did the wrong spot. Take that, bring it down, create clipping mask. Why did you come out here? Give me 1 second, I'm gonna touch this up so you're not spending 10 minutes watching this. Okay, so I finished that up. I am up merging the image down onto the black base. Add a gradient because as you can probably see without it, there is a bit of a line going across, so with the gradient there, that line disappears. And now we have this space here to write whatever we want for our little centerpiece. So we'll do that section next. We want to find a font that sort of matching this image, and I'm choosing more of an old-timier font. It's probably not the best option, and it definitely doesn't look like what was used for the Oblivion one, but trying to find that font would be a year in the making, and while I'm very interested in making this as similar as possible to the Oblivion version, I am not so interested that I'm going to spend a long time looking for the exact font that they used. So to start out, I think the font's already there. Yep, that's the font I wanted to use. So we're going to write a bunch of stuff here. Your adventure begins here. Not the most creative, but gets the message across. So move that into the center. Maybe you can add a bit more text. Your adventure begins here. Move that to the side. Begins here. Make wise decisions. Make wise decisions or bad things happen. Oh, that's a bit too long. A bit smaller. Actually, I do kind of prefer the centering. Let's bring that back. Cool. And now we're going to choose the font color. And this is the font here, B77A3D. You can go lighter or darker. Actually, might go a bit darker than that. A37241. Hit OK. And then we're going to grab our stroke. And the color for this is not that. 2 pixels. I'm going to do 272727. Hit OK. And then we're going to do a drop shadow at 71. 3. This is 0. I think I will space this out a bit more again. And you can adjust that as you see fit to make it bigger, smaller, play with the text. It's really up to you how you want to approach that. And now this is the really fun part, the uncharted grounds. And I just want to say, this border here, whatever I do, keep in mind that you're free to do whatever you see fit. Since this is a channel based around Discord and anime and everything in between, you could try to stylize this border in a way more suitable to your community, or if you're making it for a game, more suitable to your project. Because as you saw, this kind of style was used for a Roblox game, so I'm sure the style is applicable to a wide variety of other games that you want to try it out for. And if you're doing that, you probably don't want to copy Oblivion, what Bethesda did for Oblivion exactly, otherwise you might have a few copyright problems, and that would be not a fun time. So I can't guarantee this is going to turn out great, so don't be raging at me in the comments if something happens with this border here. Just keep in mind that there are a lot of options you could go through, and hopefully they will turn out better than what I'm about to try. Okay, so first attempt, I'm going to actually, let's see, no, I'm going to keep that there. Where am I? Yeah, I'll do that. Blending options, very basic, a pattern overlay. And I'm doing it on the text, aren't I? Nope. That's, oops. I'm actually doing here. Just a stroke. Blending options. Pattern overlay. That already looks terrible. Yikes. What about a bevel? Please, something work. Work, gosh darn it. No. Oh, something's happening. Oh, kind of like that. Yep, no, go back. Go back. Oh, kind of, maybe? We gotta think of this. I can't hear you, what your responses are, but I'm gonna take it that you like that. And we're gonna go from here. Let me see if I can find a few images online that are applicable to this. Okay, so actually, funny enough, I found this one online, and it's from one of the remakes people do for Oblivion stuff. I'll keep it here just so you guys can have it in this, what's it called? In this template, but I will play around for a bit. I'll probably just making the border a fun little playground thing where we can laugh at my miserable failures as I try to do that. So the tutorial basically is going to end here. If you want to continue watching me fail at doing the border, feel free. Sorry that I didn't have a more detailed way to do it. I will actually make a few adjustments to this one, just to make it a bit less dreary. Let's see. I do want to add a bit of a drop shadow just so it doesn't look like it was just dropped in. Not that far. What if we do inner shadow? How would that look? Not seeing any difference. Might actually keep that. And then we're gonna go back to, how's that? Oh, that is a nope. No, thank you. How about that? Nope. Nope. I have never really used these, but every time I've touched these auto things, they look horrendous. Do not touch the auto things. Oh, that's a nice dark shade. Oh, that's not so nice. Ah, yes, blood red, thank you. No, I think I'll leave it off at that. So that's the centerpiece. Yeah, you see this intricate detail? This is not something that I would be able to do, unfortunately. This font is right here. This is the full name of it, if it loads. Dalilans Uncicle Condensed. You can probably find something a lot better. Actually, what do they use for Discord? I mean, not for Discord, for the actual Oblivion one. Let me see. Actually, I'm not too far off, to be honest with you. Here's what... Where did I paste that? Oh, where am I doing? Here's what the actual one looks like. And then... Get rid of all this stuff down here. I'm not doing the loading just because why are you adding a loading screen to a wallpaper thingy-majigger? I mean, I'm not too far off, to be honest with you. Coloring was a little off, but it's easy to mess around with. You can just do eye and grab whichever color they have over here. I'm holding eye, but you can also just go to the eyedropper itself. Eye is just the quick thing for it. So yeah, it's a pretty decent match for the font. I'll try to find the font, but if I can't, you have the full name of it if you want to do a deeper search for it yourself. Here it is at the bottom. Once again, Dalilans Uncicle Condensed. Cool. So I'll leave that there. I'll actually leave this here as, what should I call it? Reference. Reference from Oblivion. Drop that at the bottom. Hide it. Make this gray. Make this gray as well. Reference. I probably should have just copy pasted. Cool. Background's there. Border's there. Border. Cool. You can always play around with this as well. You can add some noise to this. Add some more texture, depth to it if you wanted to. But I think it's fine as is. And it looks great. It's a really nice screenshot from the Sky Oblivion project. Okay, tutorial ends here. I'm going to mess around with the border for a bit. I can't guarantee I'm going to get too far. It's going to look great, but if you enjoyed, we have other videos you can watch on the channel. I'll have one on the screen that are related to Discord banners in general. It's going to be a far different style than what you see here, but I have it on screen. So if you have a Discord server that's at tier 2 boost, which is 15 boosts, and you want to try out making a banner that's unique to your server, I'll have that listed on screen, and if you don't, you can just download the template and edit it from there. Swap out images, swap out text, and you're good to go. Thank you for watching, and if you want to continue seeing what I'm going to be messing around with, feel free to continue. Alright, so I'm going to hide this border, and that is quite the beauty right there. And what am I going to do? Show the original border, and let's try out some images. 30 minutes was a pretty long time for that video. I was kind of hoping it would be shorter. I mean, I cut out the paper tutorial just to try to keep it under 30 minutes, and I guess I succeeded because we were at 29 when I officially wrapped up the video, but it would have been 40, 50 minutes if it was with the paper tutorial. Should I search squiggly lines? Squiggly. How do I spell squiggly? Squiggly lines? That is not what I wanted. Probably, well, you definitely can't see that, but let me bring this over, I guess. There's some funky lines. Can't think of any one of these that I'd want to use. I don't think I'm going to use any of those actually. They're not satisfying my line desires. Let's come back over here. Ooh, what if we did something funky like we went over to filter. We have to rasterize it first. Is that it? Yeah. Clear layer style, rasterized layer, paste layer style, and then let's do filter, distort, wave. This could be fun. Let's see. I don't like that. See that little corner right there? Go away, dude. Nobody wants you there. And now it's over there. Stop. Oh, that's a nope. That's kind of groovy. I like that. Shame it's gonna mess with our nice little centerpiece. So I'm not gonna bother doing this one. But that could be a fun little thing that you do. It's definitely not boring like the other one was, where it's just straight lines on both sides. That could be interesting. Alright, let me go back to this pattern overlay. Maybe I have a pattern in here that's gonna look half decent. That one does not. How about, ooh, what's that? Ooh, that's disgusting. I'm not feeling that one. Maybe? This brown is just a really ugly color. I'm not sure what else to do with that. That is funky stuff. Nope. 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 No. I have a feeling none of these patterns are gonna work. And this thing is still so tiny. Nobody's giving me any advice on how to make it larger, unfortunately, so I'm stuck squinting. Okay, no patterns. I don't like any of those. Let me look at my bag of tricks, my asset folder, and see if I can find anything. Okay, I found some stuff, but I'm not sure how this stuff is gonna look. I have a sinking feeling. Ooh. I mean, maybe we could do something with this actually. Clip that, Control T, expand it out. We could do something. I mean, it's still gonna look better if you had all those squiggly lines along the edges. Some kinds of decoration, but texturing it might work. That's not half bad. I mean, it still looks pretty bland. This is a nasty wood texture. I don't know where I found that, or why I have this in my texture folder. It is not a pretty wood. Huh. What if we overlaid? Now that's interesting. That's not terrible, but I still want some kind of line here to do stuff. I mean, I already know it's gonna look bad if I try it, so I'm not gonna bother because I don't work with that kind of stuff ever. I think I tried it a couple times actually. What am I doing that for? I tried it a couple times and in the past on other projects, and it did not look good at all. And at this point, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just layering. So, I mean, I suppose you could just do regular GFX layering and get some splatters in there, get some funky effects going on the borders. But I don't think that kind of border style, excuse me, would work well for this. I mean, if you've seen some of, such as the Cyberpunk tutorial I did, which involves multiple different layer effect styles. Actually, let me grab that real quick. That could be interesting. Let me pause while I open that file. So here's that file. What if we grab these wavy lines? That could be interesting. Am I the only one? Look at that. That's pretty groovy. Oop, that was not what I wanted. Look at that. Wow. Huh. I actually kind of like that. That's not half bad. Let's see what else I can grab from here. Nope. Let's see. Corner sections. There's nothing there. Base layer. Where I had everything at? That's not gonna work. That could be interesting. No. What if? Not really feeling it. Definitely not feeling it. Let me group this real quick. So whoever opens this is gonna be, let's see, custom border, and this is actual border. What else? There was one other effect in here. What did I say? Effect? I can't speak English anymore. This dust particle might be interesting in adding some flavor to this border. Whoever, all of you guys who open this file are going to be very confused for those who didn't continue watching where all these effects from down here came from. I mean, I guess that could be interesting. This is just making a file much larger as well, so for when you guys download it, I apologize for that. Glass. That could be not half bad. Just gotta straighten it out. Let's see. Flipping mask. You know what this reminds me of? It's in those old movies where you see some rich guy in his house and he has all these funky designs because it's abstract and it makes him look wealthier. This is the vibe I'm getting from this. This would be the kind of furniture you'd see in that kind of house with these funky lines and I don't know. This is very strange. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of like it. I've mentioned that a few times, I believe. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's certainly better than whatever I thought would come out of this. I mean, by no means it's amazing, but what do you think? I bet you, ooh, what did I do? I bet you didn't think it would come out looking half decent. At this point, I'm just screwing around. I'm not even sure what's going on anymore. What has this channel become? We've gone from tutorials to let's screw around with Photoshop. That could actually be a fun video idea, just screwing around with Photoshop and doing stuff. I mean, I got pretty far in the tutorial. I showed you guys how to actually get all of this made. The border is where the main messing around is at. I mean, the text could have been a bit better, I suppose. But if you just try different colors, I'm sure it'll be fine. I might just leave it off here because we're already at 40 minutes and uploading all this is going to be, whew, it is not going to be fun. So I'll leave that there as custom border for the upload. I'll have this as the actual border you see in the thumbnail. And actually, while you're here, let me show you how to make the thumbnails real quick. So this is the thumbnail. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do all that, edit, copy merged. Come over here, Control V, and you have that. Now we're going to do some resizing. Oops. A bit bigger. And this is the exact banner you're going to see on the video when you click it. Copy, delete, paste layer style. This should give it a bit more pop. A little bit. And what should we call this? Let's go with Tes Oblivion loading screen. Probably could have made it a bit more interesting. What color do I want to use for the backgrounds? How about we go with a nice red? I think what I'm going to start doing for future videos is I'm going to have 6 different colors options for the background, just swap those out. Just so the channel has a bit more of an aesthetic to it. Color replacement tool. This is a very ghetto-ish way of doing it. I'm sure all of you who are watching this are frowning upon my ways. I promise my ways will be changed. Beautiful. It does not match this at all, but the nice red is going to catch your eye and make you interested in watching the video. Hopefully. That's the idea. Okay, and that's done. All that's left is to save this and upload everything. I'm not sure why you watched all the way to the end here if you did. And if you skipped all the way over here to see what was going on, the video ended at the 29-minute mark. So you might want to go back there and recap. Everything past that was just messing around. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. I hope you all have an amazing day, and bye-bye.